Hello everyone. Yes, today we are going to make a princess style dress. It shall have a different skirt. The down part will be gathered skirt. So we are going to start making our pattern. So this is my starting point. I've already put it, and I'm going to take my measurements. Let me check something here, then we can start. Yeah. Oh my God. So we are going to need this and this, then plus our curve. I'm setting up something here, then I can begin. My camera is up, so I need to be seeing what I'm doing because my network is not so good. ጌታ ነው። አሁን ላይ ግን ስራ ላይ ሆኖ እንደው ስራ ጀምሮ የሆነ ቀን እንደዚህ ስራ Okay, now I finished setting up. So we are going to start with drafting our pattern. This is going to be the back, and for the back I'll leave like 1.5 or 2 inches. Let me take this ruler is 2 inches wide, so I'm going to take out 2 inches. Those 2 inches will be for the zipper allowance. Okay, so I'm starting to take my measurements from here. So from this is my shoulder line. From my shoulder to my bust is 10 inches. From my shoulder to my under bust is 13. And from my shoulder to my waist is 16. I'll leave this extra, like 2 inches for joining allowance, to join to the skirt part. So we already marked our lines. This is bust, under bust, waist. Okay, so we are going to take our neckline. Our back neckline, we are taking 3 by 1 inch or 1.5, depending on what you want. So I've taken 1.5 by 3 inches. I'm going to use this curve and connect. So after that, I'm going to take my shoulder measurement. My shoulder divided by 2 is 7.5. I'm also going to come on this line and take the same measurement, 7.5, and then come up by 2 inches to make a shoulder slope. 2 inches to make a chest line. Yes. So after that, I'm going to come here down by 1 inch to make a shoulder slope. This is the shoulder slope. This is the chest line. So I'll connect this line to this. So I'm going to get my measuring tape and measure this line, and after measuring it, I'll divide it by 2. So this is the measurement I've got. This is the point I've got. So I'm going to come here and on my chest line and take my bust measurement, divide by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So my bust measurement is 9.5. 9.5 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, I'll take the same measurement here, 10.5. So after doing this, I'm going to get this curve and connect this to here. So I'm going to get my nipple to nipple measurement. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. 3.5. Okay. So also here, my nipple to nipple is 3.5. My nipple to nipple here is 3.5. So I'll come and mark. You might, it's by choice, that is not compulsory. Since it's 3.5, you might extend it by 0.5. It's not compulsory, it's your choice. You can do it like that, or you can leave it as it is. So you might extend it by 0.5 because the inch is going to take 0.5 on one side and 0.5 on the other side, but it's not a must. Okay, so I'll extend also my nipple to nipple measurement on the chest line. So I'm going to take a dart on the waist of 1 inch. So the dart will be 1 inch wide, which is 0.5 on this side and 0.5 on the other side. So we are going to take the dart from here. You can take it from the bust line, but I'll take mine from the chest line. It's your choice also. You can take it from the chest line to down, or you can take it from the bust line to the waist. So that's also your choice because it's a slight difference. Almost invisible. Okay, so this is our back pattern. So what we are going to do, we are going to take our measurements. So what we are going to do, we are going to come on our bust. My under bust is 8.5. So 8.5 is this. I'm going to come and add this. This is 0.75. 0.75 and add 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So whatever you get on this dart, you replace it this side. So on my waist is 9 inches. I'll take the dart of 1 inch and 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'll add 2 inches here. Okay. So I'll come on my bust also. My bust, I've already done everything. I'll take something, it's not even 0.5. It's very, very small. So I'll connect so from here it will just be straight because I'm just extending. This is sewing allowance, joining allowance to join with my skirt, so it's not going to add anymore. So this will be my back. So I always tell people your pattern might be different from another person. If you see mine, it is like this. It's not a must your pattern must be like this one. People are different. Okay. My body is different from yours, so it doesn't mean that we must have the same pattern. Yours might slant from here like this or like this, so it depends on your body measurements. So when we come on this line, I'll add slightly by 0.5 inches. I've not measured, I always use eyes here. This is just for joining my shoulder. So when I reach here, I'm going to put a zipper allowance on my. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come and put 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches here. And come on my waist and measure. You can put 0.75 if you know how to sew on a small sewing allowance. If you don't know, you can use 1 inch. Okay, or you can use 1 inch here and use 0.5 here. It depends. So another method you can use, you can add some like 1 inch on this side and you bring the line straight to here, and the 1 inch you add it on this side. So this also works. Whatever works for you, you do that. Okay, so I'll bring 1.5 here and 1 inch here, or 0.75 here, depending on what you want or on what works for you. So when you're sewing, you make sure that you eliminate this, okay? This is a zipper allowance. It's not part of it's not part of the pattern. This is a zipper allowance. So when you're putting on your zipper, it will be the zipper allowance. Okay. So this is the back pattern. Hi Royal Beads, how are you? So this is the back pattern. We are going to graft the front. Okay, I'll start like this. So I'll make a starting line. I always like making a starting line. So we are going to start taking our measurements. From my shoulder to my bust is 10 inches. From my shoulder to my under bust, 13. From my shoulder to my waist, 16. I'll do the same on this side. Shoulder to bust, 10. Shoulder to under bust, 13. Shoulder to waist, 16. So we are going to take our neck measurement. Our neckline will be 3 inches on this line, and our shoulder is divided by 2, 7.5. So on the front, in the center front, our neck will be 3. So our neckline is 3 by 3 inches, okay? So I'm going to come down on this line by 1 inch to make a shoulder slope, and I'll also come on my bust line and measure my shoulder measurement just to indicate where the line is supposed to pass. So I'll come up by 2 inches and make a line there, which is our chest line. So I'm going to come on this neck line and join to the slope to make a shoulder slope to this 1 inch I made here. So I'm going to join this line, make sure it's in alignment here to here. So I come and join like this. So this is our chest line, bust line, under bust, waist. This is some allowance. So we shall put in our neckline. And after that, I'm going to come and measure half of this line. Then go in by 0.5 inches. Then I'll connect the 3 points. Okay. So I'm going to come and make and get my bust measurement, divide by 4 plus 1 inch, which is sewing allowance. So by doing all that, I have 10.5. After that, I'm going to come on my bust line and take my nipple to nipple measurement, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. So I'll make a line here. So I'll come down from my bust by 1 inch and come on my waist and take a dart. I might take a dart of 1.5 or 2 inches depending on what you want. It is your personal preference. So, but if you have a bigger bust here, you can take up to 2.5 on the waist. If you have a small bust, you can take 1.5, 1.25 to 2 inches. So I'll take 1 point. Let me take 1 point. I take how many? Let me take 2. Yeah. Let me take 2. So I'll come and connect here and also connect here. So after doing that, I'm going to come here on my bust line and measure 0.5 on one side and 0.5 on the other side. So I'll come in and do like this and come in and do like this. Disclaimer, there are a lot of ways to do the dart. It's not that the way you know is the what should I call it? Is the definite way. No, there are other ways you can do it. So I'm going to come and connect here and also come and connect here. So there are different ways. If you can learn different ways from different people, then it's good. Yeah, because we are all on a learning journey. So I'll measure this from here to here. To this point I marked. This is my bust divided by 4. So I'm going to measure around this. And after measuring, I'm going to get half point of it. So it's 9 inches. So I'll measure 4.5. And that's where I'll take. This is the 4.5 mark. So I'm going to join this line to here. So I'll do this. Okay. So after doing this, I'm going to come on this line and come down by 0.5 and come up by 0.5 also. So I come here and measure 0.5 and also measure 0.5. After that, I'm going to connect again to this point. Then I'll do the same for the upper part. I would have used the pencil, but it will not be visible. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to extend this down line a bit. So after extending it, to cover up for this space, I'm going to make sure that this pattern will be equal when I join them. I have to go again here by 1 inch. So I'll get my measuring tape and make 1 inch here. And after making 1 inch here, I'll come here and add 1 inch. So I'm going to join again. So this line is, we are not considering it anymore, and this is a dart. Okay, so now I'm going to take my measurements. For this, I'll take it to down straight. So I'm now going to take my measurements. So my bust divide by 4, bust divide by 4 plus 1 inch, 10.5. I'll use 11 just to give it. So I'll come here and take my underbust measurement. My underbust measurement is 8.5. 8.5 I add, this is 1.1 point, it exceeds 7.5. I don't know what it is called. It's here, and also add 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I come on my waist. My waist is 9 inches. It's waist divided by 4, 9 inches plus 2 inches plus 2 inches plus 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to join. So we've already added the sewing allowance. You don't need to add sewing allowance when you're cutting. I took this straight because this is just joining allowance. I'm going to join my skirt to my top on the waistline. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out. So I always tell you we add 0.5 here, which I cut using eyes. I use my eyes, I don't measure, just to, you can measure it for joining our shoulders. Okay, okay, so this is our front, and after that I'm going to take a bust dart here. I will not take so much. I'll take 1 inch on this line so that I will recover it down here. So this is my bust line. I'm going to come down by 1 inch. You can take 1.5 or 2 inches depending, but I'll use 1 inch. Okay, okay, You can't find my tape. I'll use this glue stick. I hope it's still working. I'll use this glue stick. I take so long without using this, so sometimes it's held up. I don't. So this is how I'm going to cut my, not so firm, but I don't think this will work better. Yeah, okay. This is still fresh. I buy it and don't use it, and sometimes it sticks. Whoosh. So yeah, this will be it. So we have taken our bust dart. I told you can take 1 inch, 2 inches, 2 inches, 1 inch, 1.5 or 2 inches, okay? And you make sure that the inch you've taken from here, you replace it down, right? Yeah. So I've left these 2 inches there for sewing allowance. When I cut, I will show how I cut it to balance it. So this is going to be like this. Okay, so we now have our front and back. So we are going to cut out. Then we shall do the skirt part. So I want to mix these colors. Yes, I'm going to use green for the center and black for these pieces. Then I'll use green again for the back pattern. I want to give it a little vibe, eh? Yes. So I'm going to cut the back pieces first, okay? No need for sewing allowance on the back. We've included everything while cutting the pattern. So you don't need to add any sewing allowance on the back pattern. You cut it as it is. Okay, we are done with cutting the back. This is 2 pieces, you can see. So I'm going to cut facing of these parts. Okay, so you determine how you want your facing to, how wide you want your facing to be. So you can say I want it 2 inches or 3 inches. So I'm going to make this 3 inches. 3 inches is here. And on this edge, I'll also make 3 inches. 3 inches is also here. So you're taking 3 inches along. Okay. So we are dividing this by 2. It was on fold. So we now have the back part and the facing for the back part. You can see. So you can make this facing shorter. It's according to you and how you want it. Okay. So we are going to cut. I told you I want the back to be green and the center front. So I'm going to come on this part and pin. This is the center front, so we are cutting it on fold, okay? it's unfold. Okay. So on this pattern, we are going to add a sewing allowance of 0.5 in the middle. You can add 1 inch, but sometimes 1 inch is difficult to sew it. And if you don't sew it out, if you don't sew it out properly, the princess dart doesn't come out so well. So we shall take 0.5 along this line. Okay, so just add 0.5 inches. You might not measure and cut along. I usually do that. I just cut following the shape. Most times that's what I do. So okay, here I don't need to add sewing allowance. This is the armhole. Okay, and we don't add sewing allowance down because it's already with a sewing allowance, joining allowance. Okay, so when you reach where you have a corner or a sharp and you can notch a little, or you can mark that point. You also don't add sewing allowance here, we added it, so don't bother, just cut. And when you come here also, you just cut. Okay. Okay. Okay, so where I have the lines, I'll mark here, here. I'll also mark here. So these lines are important when you're joining. You shall see how important they are. So I'm done with my center part. I'm also going to cut. I'm going to cut the facing. Okay, this is also on fold. You can see it's on fold, so I just press it here. You can cut your facing with a fabric. You can just fold when you're starting and cut it together, but sometimes it wastes fabric you don't have. If you're on a budget, your fabric is on a budget, you have to use this method. So last time I took by 3, so I'm also going to take 3 inches on this line. Okay, and from here I'm also going to take 3 inches. 3 inches, so they are here. So you make sure it lies flat and good. So I have to just join here to here by 3 inches only. Okay, so this is my facing. Okay, so we are done with this. So I now have my front, but I'm not done. Okay, so this is my front and this is the facing of the front. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, shall close it. So we are going to cut this part, and remember we deducted 1 inch down here, so we can replace it when we are cutting. I told you I want to mix black and green, so I'm going to use black. Wait, I have some black. It folded itself, but I used this. It doesn't matter. So I'll use this. So for this is a garbage bag. It has no that this line is the bias line, or it has no, all the grains are the same, so you don't need to worry where to cut. But if it was for real fabric, you have to check if you're cutting on a straight grain or you're cutting on bias. It depends on how you're going to cut. So for this, I'll just Just want to trace it out or not. So I'll make it up by 1 inch here. So this is the line I'm going to take. I'll take 1 inch up. It will be 1 inch longer than the other, and when I reach the time of arranging it, when I've sewed it, I'll again straighten it here. Okay, but as I'm cutting here, I'll just add 1 inch down because my bust that was 1 inch. Okay, I hope you understand me. So we don't need sewing allowance on the edges. This side especially, we don't need sewing allowance. So I'm tracing it out, and I've done 2 pieces because this is the side front. It has 2 pieces, left and right. So I'm going to add 0.5 inches sewing allowance. So just add 0.5 inches sewing allowance. So you can, for you can add 1 inch, but for me 0.5 is enough. As I told you, this princess dart dress, if you add so much sewing allowance, you reach sewing it, sometimes it's not, the princess dart is not darting, eh? So I leave the exact sewing allowance I need. So I think this is it, and I have to mark the major points. This is the under bust, this is the waist, and this is the bust. So these points you have to mark so that you know how to align it. I'll just even put a tracing wheel on them so that I can notice them easily. Okay, so we are done with our front part. We have everything we need for the front part. So when we are arranging the front part, it will just be like this. And this will be like this. So we shall just sew, and I told you this edge is longer, so after we finish we shall cut it a little bit off. Why? Because I added 1 extra inch, and this point in the middle, this middle point did not increase, so here it is the same measurement, but it shortened on this side, so we shall cut off on this side when we are sewing. And now I have to mark the major points as I told you. So this is the underpart. This. So we are going to mark the points. This is this here, and the underpart is this here. So when we are sewing, we shall okay. So we are done with cutting the upper part. Hello Ahmed, how are you? So for the down part, I'm going to use this. So I'll check how long this is. This is 38 point something inches. Okay, 39 point something. So I want to make my skirt and later join it, but I'm thinking of the way I've not yet understood. Yay! This is 29, probably 30, times 2 is 60. So I'm folding this into 2. So you can see this is 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers. So this is my down part. And I'm going to run a gathered stitch around this. I'm going to run a gathered stitch around this. Okay, but first I'll put it aside. Fabregas, hi, how are you? So I'm going to make my down part in a way that from my waist to my hip, it's like a pencil skirt. Then I'll add that piece, the gathered piece, okay? So I'm going to take this and make a very short pencil skirt. So I'll fold this into 2. And this is on fold. You can see it's on fold and this is on fold. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave 2 inches on this part. So the 2 inches are this ruler is 2 inches. So I'll place this here, and these 2 inches, this is the back and this is the front. These 2 inches are for the zip allowance. Okay, now I'm going to draft a pencil skirt pattern on this fabric. So from my waist, this is my waist, to my hip, it is 10 inches. Where have I put my chalk? Okay, I'll use this. From my waist to my hip is 10 inches. I'll also measure it this side. And I will add 2 inches extra, just 2 inches. These 2 inches will be for sewing allowance, okay? 2 inches will be for sewing allowance. and here 2 inches for sewing allowance. So this is my actual hip measurement. Okay. I forgot. I have to extend. Wait. I have to leave a joining allowance on top. So I'll leave on top also. Sorry. I'm going to leave 2 inches on top also for joining, because I have to join from the top to the bottom, the blouse to the skirt to make a dress. So I've left 2 inches. I'll cut them off. I'll cut some off. Let me leave 1 inch. 1 inch will be enough. 2 inches will be too much for just joining. So let's measure 1 inch. So this 1 inch is for joining on the waistline. So we are going to go down by 10 inches. 10 inches is here. And again here, 10 inches is here. So after that, I'm going to add a joining allowance of 2 inches. One inch is enough, but we shall put 2. Just. Okay. So we have joining allowance on the waistline, on the waist, and this is from the waist to the hip. It is 10 inches, and we have also joining allowance to the down part. I hope you got me. So I'm going to take my measurements. When I'm taking my measurements, I'm taking them from this point. This is the center back, and we have a zip allowance here. So from here, my waist is 8.5 inches. Waist divided by 4, 8.5 inches in my case. And I'm going to add 1 inch for the dart, and I'll add 1 inch for the sewing allowance. If you don't want the dart, don't add the 1 inch. It's okay. If you don't want the dart, the 1 inch, you can leave it. You can do this without a dart. So you add 1 inch if you want the dart. And when you come here, you measure your hip, divide by 4. In my case, it is 11.25. Then you add 1 inch sewing allowance, which makes it 12.25. So the exact measurement we used here is what we take down, and it is the same. So when we come here, we are going to add 0.75 on the waist. Remember, even on our blouse, we added 0.75 for the dart allowance, for the sewing, for the zipper allowance. So we also add 0.75 on this side, and we come on our hip and we add 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches on our hip line. And since this skirt is going to join with a gathered skirt from this point, we don't add anything anymore. So we just connect. So I've cut this straight because it's a joining allowance. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we are done with this. This is the front and this is the back. These are 2 pieces for the back. I'll mark this center, back. This is the side, back. Okay, so before I indicate the sewing allowance on the skirt part, one thing I have to do, I have to make sure that I've got it correct on the blouse, because it is not good that you join the dress and one dart is on the other side and the dart also on this side. So to align the dart properly, this dart, to align the dart on the skirt to connect with the front part, you have to sew the front part first and sew the back part together also first. After doing that, you will see the point where the dart is on the blouse, and that's where you will take the dart on the skirt, so that the dart from the up part and the down part are in a straight line. Okay, because it is very common that you'll make a dress and reaching the joining part, the dart does not align. So make sure that you finish the upper part and see where to put the dart. Okay, yeah. So I hope that is done. So this is how our dress will be arranged. Just show you a sneak. This is just facing. This is the back. So as I've told you, sew the blouse first, see where the dart is. After seeing where the dart is, you will come and mark where the dart is. So after marking, that's where you'll know that the dart is here and the dart is here, and connect them. I hope I'm clear. And after that, on this down part here, this will be gathered here. So that is how our dress will be arranged here. So I'll put up this dress. When I'm done with it, you'll see it when I finish sewing it. I might not finish everything now, but you'll see it. Okay, so I'm going to sew after. I'm not going to finish now, but I'll sew part of it and I'll come back later to finish. So this material really does not have so much that this is the front and this is the back part. So you just I'm going to sew this and I'm going to sew the other side before I join here. You can decide to pin this. You must make sure that this, you see, this aligns to this part. You see this, so you have to make sure. So you have to be careful when you're sewing and make sure the points align properly. So I can put a pin here. This princess that disturbs a lot of people. Aligning it properly is sometimes a problem. Yeah. So you're going to sew like this. Why the 1 inch? We have 1 inch here because we added 1 inch. You remember we added an inch. So that's why we have extra on that side. So you arrange well and sew. So it's where you start from is up to you. You can start from here going up like this, or you can start from here going up like this, or you can start from this end, as long as you've pinned everything well. Okay, you can see. So you're going to sew like that. Don't mind the threads, the color is contrasting. Yes, it's contrasting a bit, but don't mind it. It's okay. Oh, so remember that you added 0.5 sewing allowance, so don't sew on 1 inch when you added 0.5. Okay, you must remember the sewing allowance you put in, otherwise it might not fit. So when you're doing a princess dart, take it slow. Okay, since it's not straight, you have to go slow a bit, so as you arrange. So as you place everything in order. you're done. You're done with sewing this side. And when you're sewing a princess, that you have to iron, okay? And you notch this. I don't see my small pockets here. So you come and you have to have a tailor's arm and iron it very well. You iron the dart, press it down so well. But since this fabric is not something to be pressed with a flat iron, so you don't. But when you have real fabric, you have to press, okay? Okay. So you can see it's supposed to have something like a curve like this. You can see it from here. Okay. So we are going to do this side also. So the major points, I told you this is a very major point. You have to pin it first. And after pinning it, you move this along. When you move this along, you'll know where to start from. So I'm going to start from here. You can as well start from here, coming down or going down. Okay, coming up or going down. So I'm going to start from here. This will be my starting point. Okay. As usual, take it slow. Be careful, take it little by little while you arrange everything properly, and make sure you use the sewing allowance you left. So don't use extra sewing allowance you did not leave. So we have it also on this side. We are done. So I emphasize ironing, but we cannot iron this kind of material, so we shall not iron, but we are supposed to. We are supposed to iron with the tailor's arm, okay? But we cannot iron this, so we shall just notch, and this helps to give it helps to ease in these lines, because since we have curves, it gives a little ease. Okay, so here we are. So your dart has to have a curve in, you can see. So this is not fabric, but if it was fabric, you can lay it up like this, and you see that bust forming itself very well. But this material is not that good. So I'm going to join the sleeves on, and I have to mark where my zipper allowance starts from. That is very important. You know how much, if you don't do that, when you put on a zipper and you add the sewing allowance to the neckline, in the front, your neck will have it will make some sort of gapping. So it's important you know which sewing allowance you put in the back for the zipper allowance, okay? So I mark this, and down it was 0.75 inches. So I'll come down also and mark how the sewing allowance was. So when I'll be sewing, I'll make sure I take it to this. So this was my sewing allowance, okay? So when I'm putting on a zipper, I have to sew along this line. I have to sew this line, and the rest will be my zipper allowance. So that's why I marked it. I'll also mark it on this side. I told you it's important to know how much you left in, because if you add it in the fabric, it is going to bring gapping in the front. So we are going to join. So I'm going to join these lines together. Okay. I'm going to join my facing. This is my front. I'm going to join it with my back. So this is my facing. Before you sew, arrange it properly. Okay. So you're going to take this and align it very well. Then you sew. This is a plastic bag. It does not need serging on the end. But if you're using real fabric, you have to use a serger and weave the ends. Okay? You weave around this. Or you can make a rolled hem. Okay? You can make a rolled hem. So mind that. Or I'll make it for you, a rolled hem. You see what I mean. So we are going to come on this and also so this is our facing. I'm going to cut off all the excess. I want it to be equal on all sides. So if you don't have a serger to finish these raw edges, what do you do? If you don't have a serger, this is what you're going to do. If you don't have a serger, you're going to come here and make a small, you can come and make, let me start with this side. You roll here and sew around, okay? One time, first time. We are going to make a rolled hem. So, and make sure the color is matching, okay? Yay! Yes, so we do this, and after doing this, you see, I've sewn a small hem around. I've sewn, and after that, you're going to fold again. It's not so easy, but if you don't have a serger, there is no way, and you have to finish in a clean way, a neater way, so that someone takes their cloth when it's looking beautiful. So from the inside and from the outside. So you shall come again